What's good, everybody? So much Jason Pikes for here. Now, I just want to kind of quickly talk about Kamikatsu, honestly, because the anime did finish. And while I will say I was very entertained by the show, and it did a lot of things I would say had like a fun moments in it, and it had a lot of good times with it. And a lot of the choices that they made for the show is definitely interesting. But at the very same time, is this like a really good show? I would kind of say if you're looking for a plot that's actually really good for you to care about the characters and, if you're really looking for like a traditional anime to really get attached to, I would say this is not the one for you, honestly. I would just say if you come here for entertainment and you basically want to be, having some comedic moments into it, then I would say this probably would be the show for you. Honestly, if you just like to watch some not so better, like, I guess not so ideal shows of anime, this will be for you, honestly. I would have to say that this show, personally, for me, is about a 6.5 out of 10. I don't think this is even worthy of a 7. I think it's just okay. I don't think it's really that great of a show, but I didn't hate it because I was entertained watching it week after week after week, honestly, trying to keep up with this damn show. So, again, I won't say it's bad, but I definitely won't sit here and say it's good. There's been some fun moments, obviously, in it, like anytime Ataru was on screen, because she's the best damn girl on the show, and would definitely clap cheeks. Especially, I just like that they didn't really necessarily forget her either, right? Because a lot of harem shows end up forgetting their characters, or not giving the screen time that they deserve, especially when it comes to a character I like. So, the fact that Ataru actually got, screen time, I'm actually vibing with that. I actually do like that. And the fact that they try to lure her up, especially in episode 12, the last one, and they're like, oh yeah, she gonna start servicing by licking bananas like they penises, and then doing some erotic magazines and stuff. And I'm like, boy, tell me right now that they got some books out there for Ataru that's just out there right now. I'm copping a whole set. Do not play me. But definitely, I'm glad that some characters actually did get their screen time. And I feel like that was like a good thing, because like I said before, a lot of hammer shows don't necessarily do that. So the fact that this one did, I'm absolutely fine with that. Then you do also have, like the other characters that was also there. I would say there's characters that I feel like you would hate, and there's characters that you would probably like. Like, I didn't necessarily hate a lot of characters outside of Yukito, really, and maybe a bit of Roy. But honestly, I'll give him a pass over Yukito, because Yukito ain't shit, honestly. And just straight up is a manipulator, no matter how you spin it. So definitely I have some very hard feelings against Yukito, honestly. And the fact that everybody kind of just likes him and stuff. But the reason why is for that is because he kind of set himself for like a somewhat good example for everybody, even though his intentions are stupid as shit, right? So I can't necessarily get too mad at the characters. But at the same time, there is some characters that do call out his bullshit, but they have kind of no choice but to kind of go along with it, as sad as it is, right? So when it comes down to things, it's someone that is like an it is what it is situation. Mitama was okay, but I didn't really feel entertained by Mitama like that. I feel like every other character that wasn't Yukito and Mitama was like the more entertaining and more, cooler character, right? At least that's what it felt like to me. Loki was kind of like a boring character, honestly, because they honestly just existed to talk, be secretive, walk around, and that's essentially it. They tried to set up some stuff for season 2, but I wouldn't be surprised if this anime doesn't get a season 2, right? Like, if it does, hey, at least I get to see more Ataru moments. But if it doesn't, I wouldn't necessarily be surprised, and I wouldn't necessarily mind if it didn't get a season 2, honestly. Like, this is one of those rare few moments I'm like, if it got a season 2, cool, but did it really need it though? So, and that's kind of how I feel, at least with what it left me with episode 12. If I were to give the waifus of the show like a top 3, Ataru will be number 1, Dakini will be number 2, and then number 3 will be Aloro, just because she's absolutely crazy. Like, bitch out here trying to whip vans and cars and trucks and shit, like it's Tokyo Drift out here, in the damn outdoor, in like this not even pavement having ass streets that she be driving on. She be driving on dirt. She be freaking Tokyo drifting on dirt, bro. How do you do that, right? So I like Haloro because she just got random crazy moments as well, right? So I can definitely vibe with that when it comes to her. And anything else when it comes to the show is not really much I could say outside of, I guess, the CGI, because everybody hates the CGI, which people said that there was like a you know, that's what they would want it to do for the show. Because yeah, it could be funny and used for gag comedy and stuff like that. But then when you see scenes where they actually have good art styles and it looks really high budgeted, and then you see these CGI scenes, and you're kind of like, wait, but that feels like a little bit of a detriment to the actual show itself. You got all this other parts of it where it looks fine or it looks different, but then you also have parts of it where, you know, the CGI can be funny, but also it feel like it's really super cheap and it's super glaringly bad, right? And it just feels like that's kind of what kind of is like a detriment to the show. Honestly, the fact that they use the CGI for fun stuff is fun, but it's also like a detriment to the damn show, honestly. At least that's what it feels like, again, to me. There's also parts of it where we're just like, wow, the plot, I don't really care, because it's like they kind of flip the script on the plot some of the time, and then, you know, you're supposed to care for some aspects of it, but then you also have the other aspects of it, and then it's also like, where would you go from here, right? Yeah, Loki is like the main antagonist of the show, but at the very same time, it's also like, is that really like something that we have to explore? Unless they're gonna announce that there's more Archons, but still, they're probably all gonna go to Yukito's side, or they might honestly just be on Loki's side, but then it's probably gonna be a very predictable story if we keep going that route, honestly. So I don't necessarily know what will be like to make the story interesting and to continue it on past season, you know, season 1. So, like I said before, I don't think the show really needs a season 2. If you really want to keep up with it, then you can. But I don't necessarily think there is a reason for it to keep going, right? And like I said, it probably will go down a predictable route, because what, is all the Archons females too? Is there no male Archons that could actually stand in the way, right? And then if there is, it's probably going to get solved in a very silly situation, just like every other thing, right? So, again, I don't necessarily hate Kamikatsu, but it's definitely not something I would say I would look forward to watching again, unless I'm just watching for Ataru's moments, where she did have quite a few moments, but still it's not necessarily like, oh, a super big must go back and see type of thing, right? So essentially, Kamikatsu again is about a 6.5. If you want to watch it, I would say you can, but I don't think it's absolutely necessary, unless you just want to see some fine bitches, because yes, the show does have some fine ones. Definitely, that's really all I have to say for this one. Definitely gonna give Ataru like a waifu material video at some point in the future. I just don't know when. But hopefully you did enjoy. If you did, be sure to like, share, subscribe, hit the bell notification on your way out. Also follow me on the socials so you can listen to the channel. Patreon is available as well. And don't worry, there is going to be another video, because I've been playing the game that I've been wanting to play for a while, and I'm getting through it. And honestly, that's kind of the reason why I've been kind of slacking on posting anything on Twitter, I suppose. So honestly, we'll talk about that in the next video, which will be today. Until then, it's boy Jay, signing off. Have a blessed day.